Welcome to another episode of the APL Spotlight Series. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights, backgrounds, and much more to share with all of us. I'm super excited today to have Leanne Venier, as in Yay, back with us again. She's been on the regular show. She's an engineer, international artist, and much more. If it's scientific discoveries, if it's red light therapy, if it's the use of color for healing or emotional regulation is the best I can say, helping people through color globally. She's got that background. She's been a presenter at South by Southwest. She's coming to us from Texas. She's only probably, I'm going to say, 60 miles away as a crow flies. And I love speaking with her. So, Leanne, great to see you again.
Great to see you, Michael. Always happy to come on your show and chat. We have great conversations.
Absolutely.
Always lots of takeaways. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, look, there's always a lot going on in the world. What's your number one advice for the audience out there on how to separate the external and cultivate the internal, like especially the heart?
Well, it's funny you ask because I've been posting and talking about that very topic a lot this week on social media and on my Telegram, in my Telegram groups. And one of the biggest things I think that prevents people from being able to tune in and connect with their core selves and the messages that we get is being stuck in a state of fear. And when you're in fear, you're in that fight or flight mode and you can't do anything else. Your body, your psyche, everything just puts you in this tilt state where you can't connect, you can't heal. You literally, your body can't heal. It like blocks the healing process. You can't focus, you can't concentrate because everything, we're hardwired to if there's, a giant tiger coming after us, we're supposed to go into fight or flight. And everything should be about like get away from the tiger, all your resources go towards getting away from the tiger. That's what happens when you are in a state of fear. And one of the very effective ways that, the powers that be try to keep people in a state of fear because they're easier to control that way is through mainstream media. So, and social media, a lot of, social media that we get delivered content that is strategically designed to keep you in that riled up state of fear. And especially, watching the news, reading the newspaper, anything like that. All of the mainstream media outlets are like that. They're designed to keep you in a state of fear. And when you are in a state of fear, you cannot connect to your core self. When you are able to connect to your core self, you get divine messages and you get clarity about where you're supposed to go, what your path and purpose is in life. When somebody wants to control you, they don't want you to have that alignment. They don't want you to be able to be self-empowered. They want to keep you a slave and in that state where they can easily manipulate you. Like here's one thing to be afraid of, and now another thing to be afraid of. And it's a constant loop. And it takes everyone's individual, awareness, first of all, to realize that that's what is happening. And then also to be able to consciously break free of that. And it's not that hard to do, but the first step is awareness and understanding. When you are like in a constant state of like, I just feel this underlying anxiety all the time and I can't heal. I'm always sick. I'm always feeling depleted and just, like dysfunctional. Like everything is going wrong in my life. And that's because you're in that state of fear and you're literally broadcasting that because thought is energy, emotions are energy. Everything that is going on in our conscious mind, all the words that we're using, we are broadcasting that energy out in the world constantly. And you are going to attract exactly what you're broadcasting. Is like attracts like. So you broadcast beauty, love, calm, clarity, that's what you get back. But if you broadcast, fear, panic, what's going to happen to me and all these things that are going on in the world, and that's constantly what's going on in your mind, you're just going to attract more and more of that and more situations that are going to propagate more fear, more anxiety. So that is kind of the number one thing. It's like being aware that when you are in a state of fear and taking conscious steps to get out of that state of fear so you can reconnect.
How can we use just watering the plants or cleaning a kitchen counter or any of like 30,000 other activities daily to slow down into the moment and do exactly what you were just talking about?
Yeah, well, that's I call that getting into flow or getting into the zone. When you're doing something that puts you into that altered state of consciousness, whether it's working in the garden or, for people who are artistic, creating something, or just even drawing or coloring in a coloring book, or being outside is a huge one. Being outside, walking in nature, not walking with a friend and, chit-chatting the whole time, but walking, you can be with another person, just sit silent, and then tune in. But it's even better while you're going through that training, just to do it by yourself, where no phone. If you have a phone, put it in your, backpack and turn it off. Don't have it turned on. And being able to feel that connection and breathing, that's a really important thing. Focusing on the breath, taking deeper, slower breaths. And then I think for me personally, that's probably one of the easiest ways historically to get into the zone, into flow, was going out. I used to spend copious amounts of time in nature because I grew up in a very stressful, household, yelling and screaming, and, was in that constant fight or flight state when I was in my home. So that was kind of my survival mechanism, was to be out in nature. So that's very calming if you put your feet on the ground. We know all about how beneficial it is to put your bare feet on the ground, how it is, feeling, sitting under a tree, holding a tree, hugging a tree. A lot of these things that sound like woo-woo are now, like, science is starting to catch up and go, oh yeah, the stuff that people have been doing for thousands of years actually has benefit, that now we can measure because we have the technology to do that. So any of those things, working in the garden, I mean, even if you live in a city and you've got a little garden, or you've got plants, in a pot out on your balcony, taking care of them, talking to plants. I mean, again, science is catching up with this too. Like, talking to your plants actually has benefit. The plants feel it. You can connect with your plants. All of these things that, again, people have been doing for millennia. Like, what are you crazy talking to your plants? It's like, that can't be, that's just a crazy lady talking to your plants. Same thing with talking to your animals. People do it all the time. But our animals, we know that our animals understand us. So all of the things that are going to get you out of that, that left brain, that where you're like constantly analyzing and thinking and like, like, what's going to happen with this? What's going to happen with the economy? What's going to happen with all these things? I'm going to get sick. There's some virus going around that everybody's like going to die. Yeah. So the reason for all of that fear mongering, again, is to get you to do what they want you to do. And that's the same thing in the veterinary industry. They terrify you with, like, oh, all these things are going to happen to your dog. Oh my God. They're going to die of this or that or the other thing. So we're going to, like, you have to get all these, toxic injections for them. And you have to give them these drugs every month. And you have to, like, put this neurotoxic slathering this stuff on, like, keep away the fleas. And it's like it's all done, through fear. And it's like, you just let your dogs be without all that chemical stuff. They're going to be super healthy and thriving. So, and it's the same thing with us, like avoiding, don't, you're stressed out. Don't go to your doctor and get like some kind of drug, or like, I'm feeling depressed or lethargic. Whatever you do, don't go and get antidepressants. They're designed to be addictive, and they're designed to make you want to, end your existence if you stop taking them. You have to be careful with certain words on this platform. So anyway, there are lots of things that you can do consciously, but there are a lot of things to do, like, to avoid doing as well, that the programming, tries to get you, run out and get this injection because this is going to protect you. When now, 5 years later, tons of us knew what was really going on, but a lot of people didn't. So, but the way that anybody can manipulate you is through fear. It's also done, it's very commonly done in marketing too. where they get you to be afraid of something. First, they give you, like, do you know that all these terrible things are going to happen if you don't do this and blah, blah, blah. And then guess what? Oh, here's the solution for you. Here we have the answer. Click here to buy now. So it's when you start recognizing that and you see it everywhere, then it's really easy. Then you've got your bulletproof vest that you can be like I'm invincible to all of that, brainwashing, because I'm aware of it. And also being aware of your own thoughts as they're coming up when you're thinking of things. And again, I've been writing about this a lot this week for whatever, it's a recurring theme in a lot of the things that I've been sharing. Be aware that you can only have one conscious thought at a time. So you want that thought to be something that you actually want to manifest, something that you want to bring into your life. You don't want to be focusing on the thing that you're afraid of. I'm going to lose my job and I'm not going to be able to, pay my bills. And you don't focus on that. You focus on, having abundance and having, a job that you love, or creating abundance in your life, however you do that. I haven't had a job in many decades, so yes, but some people still do. Anyway, is that clear?
Absolutely. And I'm going to try to just give 5 different little reactions. I had to start writing them down. So Winnie the Pooh,
Okay.
about dogs. Winnie the Pooh famously said, everyone talks to animals, no one listens. That's the problem. And I would just add, to keep it upbeat, that's the opportunity for growth for everyone, and maybe plants too. At least trees,
Yes.
I know they do. Okay, and then
Mhm.
Archangel Michael said maybe 10 years ago, this direction, positivity is a positivity is abundance. So I really like that one. Positivity is
Mhm.
abundance. And that goes to what you just said about where you put your focus is where you put it. How you spend your energy is how you spend it. But it's kind of like each moment is your opportunity. So right on with what you were
True.
saying.
Like
Finally, gold.
literally every single moment. Yeah.
Yeah, every single moment. And the more you just slow down, the more clear it becomes for you. And gold
Mhm.
commercials. I mean, those are one of the best. They always start off with the reason why you've got to buy gold is because the world's collapsing, US money,
Right.
whatever. There's some bad thing happening. You need to buy gold. And so we
Uh-huh.
do not sponsor gold on this channel. We are not doctors giving medical advice. Everyone is advised to make your own decisions and do the proper things that society tells you to do. Okay. So Leanne, take us to the
Standard
next. Let
disclaimer.
You've given us a couple really good interviews before. You've taken us through how you became an international sensation selling art, and we're talking high ticket art, and yet you had not been trained for, 32 years since you were one in professional art making and everything else, but it turned out to be very color oriented. Without getting into some of the details, you landed by an act of grace, an incredible apartment in Italy. Also, there was the bookstore story. Without getting into those, I'll have the links for the other appearances. How can
Yeah.
you skip through some of the amazing experiences presenting at South by Southwest and other places? You've spoken at events and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit
Mhm.
more about your background, including the engineer science side.
Um, okay, well, without getting into all those details, but I used to be an engineer, but that was my education, my formal education was my first formal education was in engineering. I worked for Lockheed designing submarines, and but being in the corporate world, I found that very life sucking, like those straws that I talk about sucking out your life force energy. That was not very fulfilling or rewarding. So, but the science, I mean, I've always been, um, all my life, I've always never taken anything at face value. So somebody tells me something and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let me do a little more digging. And always chronically skeptical of everything, like even my own experiences. Like that's why I always do this double blind, like if I have an experience, I don't just say, oh, that was, causation, correlation. I don't just say that happened because of this. It's like, no, I don't know because I did 3 other things that could have been any one of those or combination. So I always isolate variables. I've always had this methodology for validating and verifying my own experiences. So by isolating variables, and I teach people to do that. It's like you don't just throw a bunch of stuff in the mix and you have some results and then you say, oh, it's got to be because of this. Well, no, you don't know that until you repeat it multiple times. You get the same results by isolating that one variable. And then it's like, oh, do you get the same result every time? That's how a lot of the treatment protocols for the REDjuvenator came about. First time having an experience, and I'm like, that was interesting, and then isolating and repeating, and then, okay, now I know for sure that that method works for me. Let's see if it works for other people. So that's technically the scientific method, when you can redo something over and over and over again and get the same result. So that's yeah, it's kind of flowed into all aspects of my life. And even with having getting my downloads, like, or being guided, or being able to do things that you supposedly aren't supposed to be able to do. I'm like, oh yeah, but I can do it every single time. So yeah, it's real for me. I mean, it works for me. The messages that I get are real for me, and they are always correct. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Absolutely. Just give us a little extra flavor. How much I keep calling it grace, but how much serendipity, how much synchronicity has been present throughout the decades during your travels, your career, and just at the right time?
yeah, well, I kind of got an early lesson, well, repeated lesson in life from my Slovak maternal grandmother. I was very close with her. She was very, very spiritual. She was Roman Catholic religious, but she wasn't dogmatic about it. She was more like a, living bodhisattva, very grounded, very, very wise. And so she taught me from an early age, like when I was a little kid, it's like, if something doesn't happen that you really are hoping that it will happen, it just means that's not the right thing for you right now. And if you got that thing, then you wouldn't be able to get the thing you're supposed to get down the road. So I started paying attention to those experiences from a really early age, like, like you're a kid and you're like, oh, I really want to go on this field trip to the park or whatever, like, and then it doesn't happen. I'm like, oh, I'm so bummed I don't get to. But then, some other amazing thing happens instead. So I just started, again, correlating those experiences and paying attention to when something that I thought I wanted, that I was attached to, didn't happen. I could feel, like, you literally can feel when there's something that you think you're supposed to have, and it's like, oh no, one obstacle comes up and then another obstacle comes up and you're like, I gotta get that thing. It's like, no, that's your guides, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. That's not the right thing for you right now. It's for sure not right now, because if it were, then you wouldn't be having all these roadblocks in the way. So stop resisting that, and then be open to something else. And that's the part where think about what it is that you want. What do you want to manifest? Well, it's not, you think that's the thing that you need to make that goal happen. But really, all you need to focus on is the end goal. Like, what is it that you want? I want to have, a happy life full of abundance, and I want to be doing something that makes me feel fulfilled. And you think the thing that's going to make me feel fulfilled is having this item or having this car or whatever. And it's like, no, that's not it. But if you know what ultimately is it that you're trying to achieve, just focus on that. You don't need to know the path. You don't need to know all the steps to get there. You stay focused on the end goal, what the ultimate outcome is for you, and everything that you need to get there will then be provided for you. And that's where synchronicity comes in. So you focus on that end goal, it can be very vague. Like, when I was living in Italy, I wanted to, it's like, I want to live here, and I know that I want to have this kind of place, even though I don't believe it's possible. But I don't have to think about, okay, well, now I'm going to do these logical steps. I'm going to look for ads, that's what I have to do. I don't need to be analytical about it. I just have to stay focused on what I ultimately want to achieve. And then the universe provides all the steps to get there and the connections. And it's very often connections, here, or you get a message, go to this event, go to this bookstore, go to, go do whatever it is. And then just pay attention to those, what I call downloads, and follow them, even though they seem ludicrous, like, well, like you get a feeling, I'm supposed to go to this event at this, wherever it is, downtown. And I never go there. I don't even like going to that place. I don't like going and parking in that area. It's like, well, but I'm feeling like I'm supposed to go. Okay, well, go figure it out. Visualize finding the perfect parking spot. I mean, that's another thing. It's like parking. That's a really easy training wheel thing that I teach people. If you want to start getting in tune with that feeling, go somewhere that normally is like really hard to park, like downtown Austin, like finding a parking spot. And then start driving, and then just kind of go, hey, where's my parking spot? And then visualize, being able to just go doop, boop, slip into the parking spot. And then you'll start go, oh, okay, I'm driving. I need to turn left here, and I need to turn right here. And then you go, and then here's a person backing out of a parking space right as you get there. And there you go, there's your parking spot. So it's a really easy way to start kind of feeling what that feels like when you're getting guided and you're getting that divine guidance. And I kind of went off on a tangent.
No, it's beautiful. Talk to us a little bit about a download or the different types of downloads. Is it sometimes a voice? Is it a feeling? Is it sort of a little symphony? Is it a visual? Which way do you sometimes get it versus other ways? And I'll mention bar stools as well. There's parking spots. I love that. Bar stools, if you live in a big city like New York City, I was a master at getting bar stools early on, but getting bartenders' attentions, it was the complete opposite. I'd always have people step up next to me to get their attention eventually. It took minutes, minutes. I'd even learned to hold a big bill out. It would make no difference. I
But
couldn't.
for doing it, did you finally realize? Because if you just focus on expanding your energy field, like and go, I'm this giant light, and then you can connect with somebody and like say, look at me, call, like you don't have to do anything physical. You just sit there, expand your energy field, and then look at them and direct your energy at them, and then they'll go, oh, come right over.
In
So
Austin, I was at an outdoor bar where it's got bar and bar inside buildings with a courtyard in the middle. People dance. I forgot the name of the place, but I get to the top step and I saw a ball of light go to somebody. And the corporate people I'm with are down in the center. So later I went over and the brain somehow took away the ball of light later. But I knew I was supposed to go meet that person and did.
oh,
And
yes.
but I saw a ball light go from me to the other person. It's a long story. Tell us a little bit about your downloads. Is it a voice? Is it a dream? It's all the above. It just depends on which way you're in the act of receiving. But paint the picture for us a little of how easy it is, how available it is, how maybe a
Yeah.
little jumpy at times, but what's it been like?
Well, one of the stories that I told you, I think it was at our last APL spotlight. People can go and listen to that on your channel. The one about the dog
Oh,
and
yeah.
when I was looking for my lost dog. That was, I mean, that that was a very important download because I asked for it. Normally, I don't ask, they just come. And I'm not in the habit of asking. So and when I do get downloads, sometimes they are literal, like I hear them, but other times they're more like I hear them, but I hear them in my head, not in my ears. I hear them in my head, and it's very clear words, like a very clear, like 2019. I kept getting the download, buy land, buy land. I wasn't hearing it, I was hearing it in my head. I just kept, buy land. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And we talked about that, I think, during, I can't remember which one of our talks, but what that ultimately meant, which was, and now I have.
It's the ranch you purchased where you're at now.
Right. So sometimes they're literally auditory where I hear them in my ears, but much more often I hear them in my head, but they're very clear messages. It's not like kind of a feeling, like that's intuition, getting a feeling about, oh, I should do something, or whatever, go a download would be go to that event. Like a feeling is kind of like oh, I see something about this event. I kind of feel like maybe I should go to that. That's kind of more, which is still being guided, but a download is very clear, like command. Like go to the bookstore when we talked about that during one of our other two. Go to this bookstore, very clear, and it's just go to, that's the first step. I don't get the whole thing. I just get go to the bookstore, go to this
Such
particular bookstore.
It's
And I
such
get
a
there,
great story. Such a great story. People need
I
to go
know,
back on the other one and check that out.
yeah, so I know the rest of the steps, but you always have to take that first step. And that's with anything in life, also with entrepreneurial business or anything in your life that you want to do and you feel stuck. Even like cleaning your house. I didn't actually read the article, but I saw this thing. It's like, oh, you see their big dirty room and you have a hard time getting started. It's like anything that it is that I want to do this thing, but I'm feeling stuck. Figure out what it is that, okay, well, it's so overwhelming. It's such a huge thing. Okay, if that's what is preventing you from moving forward, pick one little thing. Do one little thing, cleaning your room. Pick up one thing and put it away. And then you'll be like, oh, and there's another one thing. Pick that up, put it away, put, whatever. Oh, that's trash. Throw it away, recycle, whatever. You have to start doing something because when we get stuck, it's this feeling of overwhelm, like there's just something. And I just had this experience this week. I can talk about it. Um, I've been stuck. I have a project that I've been wanting to do for several months, and it requires me to be on a computer, and I have to have a big enough screen to be able to do it. I can't do it on my phone, which is where I do, 90%, well, probably 95% of everything I do with my business in my life, I do on my phone. Once in a while, I have to open up a laptop and do stuff like processing all the big, shipment of orders every week for the REDjuvenator. I have to do that on the computer. But I have, I can do it on a small enough laptop. So I can be sitting outside. The thing that I always want to be able to work outside. I don't want to be stuck indoors when it's a beautiful, gorgeous day out. I've obviously the podcasts, I have to record those inside. Otherwise I'd be completely washed out outside. But if I have a big project that I need to do and it has to be done on a computer, I have to do it. This computer here in my office is a very big screen, all in one computer. So it's perfect for doing stuff. But then I'm like, but I'm inside and I want to be outside. And I don't like doing anything, work related in the evenings. I like doing projects in the house. So I just identified that there was something that in alignment with this whole project that I was feeling stuck. I did one thing. I did one thing, and then I felt the kind of the floodwaters, the gates open, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I need to do this thing. What is really preventing me from working on this project? And I'm like, I really want to be able to work outside. I want to be able to work outside, but I want to have a big screen. I can't carry this big, clunky, heavy computer outside every time I want to work. It's heavy. So I'm like, I wonder if they're making bigger screen laptops now, because I already have a 17-inch laptop, but it's not big enough. And then I look online and I look on Costco and I'm like, oh, they're making this huge gaming laptop now. Like even though it's only 18-inch, one more inch on the diagonal, it's way bigger. So I'm like, that's what I need. So I do all the research I need to do, and I just got this giant laptop yesterday. So I'm going to be able to work outside. And and the other thing, screen brightness was really important, because working outside on a computer, you have to have a super bright screen. So it has a super bright screen. Anyway, $3,000 laptop later, but now like, I'm going to be able to work on this project and be excited about it because I can be outside and working on my computer. So that's just one example of like, figure out what is blocking you from doing the thing that you want to do. And sometimes it's like, oh, I'm afraid that I can't even think of, like, there's, millions of examples. Whatever it is, I'm afraid that something might happen. Well, you don't know that until you start doing something. So you're like, that fear thing again is so, prevents us from doing so many things, the fear of what might happen. So like when you focus on the thing that you want to happen, that's when you attract the synchronicity. So don't think about the thing that you're afraid might happen. In my case, it wasn't like I'm afraid I'm not going to do a good job. It's just like, I don't want to do it because I don't want to be stuck indoors. But many times people are stuck because they're afraid of the outcome. Or what if I don't do it well enough? Or what if I don't do it fast enough? Or what if I don't have, all these amazing accomplishments? I was just having a conversation with one of my community members a couple of days ago about her healing process and her angst about not healing quickly enough, and the stress that she's creating for herself through not healing quickly enough is literally stopping her from healing, because she's in that stuck fight or flight attachment state, and then going to a Western medical doctor who is also fear mongering her and blocking her healing process even more. So I said, so you've had a very successful company. She's got a very successful company. And I said, what happens when, like what has happened historically when, when you own a business, there are always things that come up that are setbacks. They're like, oh, I just found out that my employee has been stealing money from me. It's like, okay, well, that's a big setback because they stole a bunch of money. So you have like a setback. But does it mean that you go, okay, well, I'm a victim and I'm going to like, shrivel up and die and I'm just going to close my company? No, you're going to take steps to fix that problem. You're going to fire the employee, first of all, get rid of the problem, and then take steps to recover from the damage that was done and go beyond that and improve. That's the same thing, the same way that we can address challenges in our own lives, or a healing process, whatever it is. It's just a temporary setback, and you can learn from that. There are always opportunities for learning and growth. You learn from the opportunity. You look at it, first of all, as a gift and a learning and growth opportunity. And when you reframe it in that way, instead of thinking, oh, I'm a failure or I'm a victim or whatever, label you want to place on yourself or let other people place on you, get rid of that. It's like, first of all, no, this is an opportunity for learning and growth. Thank you for the opportunity to learn and to improve, through this experience. And then you're like, okay, get rid of the problem. I always call it the sand in the gas tank, especially when people are, their healing process. It's like, okay, well, you want to heal and you're still going to McDonald's 3 times a week. Is that really in alignment with where you want to go? No. So stop doing that. Sometimes you just have to stop doing the things that are not helping you. They're not serving you. So you get rid of the things that aren't serving you, that are actually often going in direct polar opposition to where you want to go. You get rid of those. So you filter them out of your life. And a lot of times those are people in your inner circle too, that are like, naysayer, like always talking negative. It's like, that doesn't help. You can't filter that out, especially when you've got a medical doctor. Oh, yes, I'm an integrative medicine practitioner and I'm all, flowery and I do this stuff, but I don't believe in Western medicine. But then it's like, oh, look at your blood work, like freaking out. Like that's not helping you. If you see somebody that's an authority figure and they're giving you negative feedback, even if they're not an authority figure, it's hard enough to, because, if your friend is saying, oh, you're gonna die or whatever, I probably wouldn't do that, but your doctor would. You have to get rid of those negative, the people that are giving you the negative messaging. You have to stop watching the news. That's programming you with negative messaging. I tell people, it's like, you just quit cold turkey. Stop watching the news. There is no benefit to you. There are media outlet sources where you can get more of an authentic, what's really going on if you want to be tapped in. I personally like to be tapped in. I like to know what's going on. But I'm certainly not going to get my information from mainstream media that's all, lies and propaganda. So you have to, I have to know what's, whatever whatever's going on with the market or whatever excuse people have. It's like, do you really need to know that every single day and then like watch these, fluctuations and then freak out, 10 times a day or more frequently? Is that benefiting you? So you have to get rid of the things that are putting you into that fight or flight state. And that, like I said, can often be people that are doing that for you. You can have a conversation with them and say, hey, look, when you talk this way, it stresses me out. I own that I'm getting stressed out. But if you want to continue having conversations like that, then I'm just going to say, hey, let's not get together quite as often. Because it doesn't help. Right now, I'm trying to do my own, retraining of my brain to not get into that fight or flight state. So I need to limit exposure to things that are going to naturally pull me back in, because it literally can be like an addiction when people are so used to being in that fight or flight state. I mean, I grew up in an environment where it was constant fight or flight, so that was familiar to me. So later on in life, then, I get into, work that creates a stressful response to me, is like constantly stressing me out. And that's where, because that was familiar to me, constantly being stressed out. Well, that's how I grew up. So it's not healthy, but it was familiar. So we often do things that feel familiar because, again, it's just, that's what you know. You don't know anything else until you have another experience. And then you're like, oh, huh, I just realized I've spent like 4 hours out in the garden and I didn't think about any of that stuff the whole time I was doing that. I should do gardening more often. And then you don't do gardening for like another 3 weeks because, oh, it's just been busy and I have to do this and get the oil change in my car. It's like you literally have to schedule in the things that do fulfill you and nourish you and make you feel connected to that core self. You schedule them in, make it a priority. I call it putting the oxygen mask on yourself first. Well, my kids need me and my husband needs me, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? You're going to be much more effective at helping them when you are happy and you're fulfilled and you're taking care of yourself first, and you're going to be able to help them so much more. And that's the whole slow down to speed up. Sometimes you need to slow down, take off the full speed ahead thing, because you get very ineffective when you're not recharging your own batteries, when you're not taking care of yourself, when you're not putting your own oxygen mask on. You get scattered. You're trying to do 500 things at the same time, and none of them get done well. They all get done very superficially or, halfway, and then you have to go back and fix stuff. So you make more work for yourself by doing it ineffectively, incorrectly, sloppily the first time. And that's in anything, whether helping somebody else or doing something, or, it's like, here I am, I gotta cook dinner, and here you're trying to do it in a hurry, and then you drop the jar of pasta sauce on the floor, and now you just have to spend 15 minutes cleaning up that mess that you just made. So things that we do when we're trying to rush through or trying to do too many things, you can get much more effective, much more in alignment. Slow down, go outside, spend some time, fresh air, sunshine, go for a walk. It's amazing how that resets your brain, your psyche, and your energy body. And I years ago, before, it was probably around the time that I was doing the South by Southwest Interactive talk, I was giving a lot of public lectures at that time. And I would spend hours and hours and hours. Every time I would make a PowerPoint, I would start over. I would not start over 100%, but every time I'm like, I need to bring in all the latest research, and I would tweak it and fine tune it. And I never gave the same presentation twice, because I'd bring it and I read literally tens of thousands of medical research studies. So I'm always wanting to be like, okay, I'm going to bring in this, I'm going to bring in these examples. So, and I loved it. I would make these very, amazing PowerPoints. And, but it would take a lot of time to make them. So I would be working on my computer. This was when I was living in Austin, and just going for hours and hours. I'd work till like 2 or 3 in the morning on this thing. and I was enjoying it, but I was like not taking a break. And then I'm starting to get depleted. And then my whole circadian rhythm is getting thrown out of alignment. So I realized like this stuff that I'd been teaching, slow down to speed up and get out in sunshine and nature. I'm like, I'm not taking my own advice. So I better, okay. So I literally have to like, but I'm kind of on a roll. I'm on a roll with this, but it's like my effectiveness and my ability to do things, I guess, concisely was, had been going down because it's like I'm doing, I'm working too much without taking a break. So then I would just be like, okay, stop, go out, go for a walk in the trees. Like, it'd be amazing. Over like every time I would force myself to do that within like 10 minutes, it's amazing how you're up here and then you come down and you're like so calm and centered. And I'm like, I gotta remember to do this more often. And then I finally, I started doing that more regularly. But the first time making myself, it was so, I had so much internal resistance to taking a break because I still, no, I still have so much to do and I've got to give this presentation, in 2 days and I'm nowhere near, but I would make myself stop. No, stop. Because I need to take my own advice. So I'd go for a walk and then I'd come back and I'd be like, and it would just be amazing how much more effective I could get, like just everything would flow more efficiently. I mean, I have thousands of examples of that, but the part that I'm telling right now is when I learned from my own experience that sometimes you have to make yourself do these things. You have to schedule in the time to go do the things that make you feel good. And, whether it's gardening or going for a walk or playing the piano or just going into a room and, doodling or whatever. But having that downtime, having that quiet time to yourself, it's so hard for us to make time for ourselves because no, I've got to help this person or that person. I have to do these things. There's this long list of stuff that we have to do. And really, it's like, no, you have to do the things that fulfill you and make you feel good. That yet, this is what the same thing I told this woman. Make a list of 10 things that you love doing that make you feel good, like gardening, and start doing at least one of those every day. You have to do them. Well, I've got all this stuff that I need to read, blah, 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 all these appointments that I have to go to. No, you don't. You don't have to go to any of those appointments. You need to start tuning inwards. You need to start listening to what's going on internally. And the way that you do that is by doing these things that help you get into flow state, into the zone. Gardening, not all the fear chatter, not all the, what's going to happen if, no, none of that. Stay focused on, I'm a, powerful being of light, whatever word. I made a post the other day and I gave some examples like here's some really easy affirmations that are kind of universal. Take these, start with these, write your own, whatever. First person, present tense, as though it already exists. Use those anytime you hear a fear thing coming up in your head. And again, the awareness is the very important first step. Being aware that you're being, you're operating in this state of fear. And you're like, when I can't quite breathe because I'm like, I'm always like anxious and I can't stop thinking about these things that I'm afraid of. So first awareness, then take the steps to, get rid of the things that are stimulating that and keeping you in that state of fear, whether it's, the news, media, or a friend that's constantly, filling your head with that stuff, a doctor that's fear mongering you, a veterinarian that's fear mongering you, whoever it is, go away, clear them out, replace with the positive. You just have to go talk to the hand, go away, leave me alone. But you're the only one that can make those choices.
I love it. Grow your awareness, not your thinking, not your fear. Let's take some steps with the universe, and then we'll get back to your wisdom, angel wisdom, or getting some angel wisdom that is already part of your game plan. I think it's all the same. Okay, I'm gonna light some sage. This is a staple of the show, but if you haven't seen this before, yeah, I'm in Texas, another part of Texas, closer to San Antonio. She's closer to Austin. I'm going to blow it through the screen. It doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter if you're in Slovakia, if you're in New Zealand, Berlin, and it's 5 years from now, 2030 in Tokyo. You can still catch the sage. Time and space isn't what you think. And we have a scientist here, and I meant to ask, we'll have to do this later, where the scientific community is falling short, sort of what Rupert Sheldrake always talks about. But I totally forgot that. That was from half an hour ago. Okay, so if you remember that, we'll cover that later. First, interactive time. The universe is far bigger than we think it is because it ain't about thinking. And you're already fully plugged in. And I think that's what our guest, Leanne Venier, as in yay, always is pointing to your heart and the shininess that's in and around you. Okay, we did this before the show. We've done this before. She knows it works. I know it works. Give yourself a break. Your heart knows it works. And if you need something to say, angels, get me out of my head into my heart. Help me smell sage. Amen, rock and roll. Thank you. But take it bigger. Get a hug. Okay, Leanne, you're already getting the sage. Yeah. Ask for something extra from your amazing crew. If you want to bring in Einstein, Elvis, and Anthony Bourdain, and Debbie Ford. Have them bring you something extra super special, plus the smell of it's a French dish, a bouillabaisse, something I don't know how to say it in French, but um, get something extra. First, are you getting flowers?
Flowers, no, I was getting bouillabaisse.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Good. And I never do Anthony Bourdain, and I do a little bit of Debbie Ford, but maybe we'll bring those guys in later. Let's do some angels next. Let me stub this out so I don't have wisps blowing by. We've had balls of light fly right through for different guests. One in France, one in Germany. Both are South African, ironically. South African guests
Saw
have a.
one behind you, right before you started to say that sentence. It went from there behind you. Like,
Oh, and I wasn't looking, but I will. I know where this is. It's at
and
the
you were
1 hour
tipping
mark.
up.
Yeah,
Um,
it's at the 1 hour mark while I was here. I will find that. That's so funny. I probably was getting nudged by an angel as we did this. Okay, let's do one angel named Joy. If there was only one angel you were going to ever talk to ever again, you're going to make it really strict. You're going to be mean to yourself, Scrooge. And you're only going to ask one question. What do I need to know right now in life? Do you mind being our guinea pig? Ask, hey, what do I need to know right now in life from Joy? And what do you get for an answer? And be sure you get like 3 hugs for every question. Then you can't lose walking into the big casino. 3 hugs
huh.
are incredible. And no hugs have to be the same, by the way. And it can just get bigger and bigger. So you're like, oh my God, that was so big. A whole vacation and 1 hug.
Huh.
And you're wildly off the charts intuitive. So if anyone hasn't figured it out by now or hasn't watched the other shows, I'm just going to plug you right now.
I got a word, but I don't know what it means. I mean, I know what the definition of the word is. I just don't
Then
know.
you can lay your eyes on her, let her move in the photo while you're looking at her to tie up the brain. Ask her point blank, what do I need to know right now? Hear it in full sentence. And then normally I don't ever insist on sharing anything out loud unless you want to. But on this one, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
what
Well, the word I got is entropy, which means, you know, the natural state of things to expand and, not be concentrated and organized but more about expansion and growth. So I don't know what that is pertaining to right now,
Well,
but
let's do this here. Put your hand up to the photo, feel her vibe on your hand, and then have her come crystal clear into right ear, left ear, or all of you, and have her do the backstory real fast. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Anybody having trouble, put a hand on your heart, exhale like a whale. I'm going to tell one dad joke to buy time for our guest. Um, what's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips. And yeah, except she's laughing. But she's listening to Joy. Joy's like, hey, this is what.
every time you do these things, I'm like, okay, I can't listen to external stuff. There's something about the project that I'm working on. So I'm trying to left brain it.
A body in motion stays in motion. A body that's not paying attention goes blah. Entropy.
It's, I don't know. No, I'm overlaying my analytical brain. I'm not, just a moment, see if I can just think, drop in.
Yeah, we had you in analytical mode while you were.
I'm getting like a picture and I can't quite see it because I'm in my left logical brain too much and I'm not letting that um override with the image that I'm seeing. 'Cause sometimes it's like, I'm overthinking it and that's a very common
Okay, come back.
problem.
We'll do a little bit of light and buy you time. So I have a background. It's just construction paper.
Might need to bubble up. That's another thing. Sometimes if you're trying to think of something, I think we talked about this another time. When if you go by water, you get this clarity. I used to go into the bathroom just to like be near water, and I get
Hmm.
these, the answer would come. If you have something that you just like, I can't quite grasp, you just let it go. Don't keep trying to think of it because that's, like I said, the left logical brain. You're trying to grab something instead of letting it come to you. So when you let it go or do some flow activity or something mindless, and then it'll be like, whoop, the answer comes. It's like, oh, there it is. Grab it, write it down. Because when
Yeah.
you don't write things down, you're like, oh, that now it's super crystal clear, and you think I'm going to remember that,
Mm-mm.
and then you're like, oh, 5 minutes later, what was the idea? Oh my God. It
That's
was so
nonstop
obvious.
every day. Like you got to have a dry erase board hanging over the wall of the shower.
Yeah,
You got to have
yeah,
something, a little reporter's notebook for the walk, or use your
yeah.
iPhone notepad, whatever. I'm going to show light,
No,
like
don't use
Celestine
your phone on your
Prophecy, the
phone when you're
movie.
walking. Don't,
Yeah,
yeah, use paper, old-fashioned
paper,
paper.
paper. Celestine Prophecy, the movie, but as a guest said, hey, before the movie was ever made in the 1970s, we were doing this, seeing light between our fingers.
Mhm.
And in India, they do it this way, although it's going to be awkward. I got to stand. You'll see a little filament of light between my fingers. If you don't mind saying out loud what you see, after that, I'll go wider and bigger and faster, let angels come in. And as you see maybe an object, vortices, some sort of bigger swirl at the very minimum, a flower, an animal, something. People have gotten all sorts of stuff. Maybe you can let Joy come in with that clarity. Side door, exit, entrance, stage right. She'll come in and slip in what that was about earlier. Okay, here we go. Um, and what are you seeing for a color?
Oh, I always, yeah, it's easy for me. So I can see the tendrils between your two fingers kind of connected, but they're stretching out. Yours is purple. It's almost magenta.
Now, what are you getting?
Seeing more shadows than the, okay, hold on. Because there's too many shadows that are interrupting the, go back to the,
Ooh.
because you have to let your eyes go slightly out of focus. Do it again. I have to ignore the shadows that are, okay, interesting. Still purple, but you've had yellow in there also. I'm just seeing the energy, the tendrils, and it's weird, but like I keep seeing an elephant. Um,
Oh, awesome. That's what we wanted was that. An elephant is great. So you just generated your next step. We're going to bring in elephant consciousness, but I was told to do tree consciousness with you as well. Now, I only have done tree consciousness this way, just bringing it in. It means you're going to feel something that's very, the friendly trees.
uh-huh.
Friendly trees, friendly elephants. If you don't mind putting one hand out for trees and one hand out for elephants, there's a slipstream of positivity all over the globe. But there's a elephant slipstream, tree slipstream. We're not talking the unconscious stuff. If you don't mind allowing one, which one's tree? If you don't mind moving
This
your,
one.
okay.
First I went
And
because
then
you
the other
said,
one's elephants.
so
Awesome.
this is tree, this is elephant.
Okay, and if you don't mind doing something going kumbaya, whichever way is best for Leanne, and just allow flows to come in. And out of it is going to come some wisdom. We're going to get you talking again for like 12 minutes, 10 minutes, and we'll start to wrap up after that. But this is going to be fun. If for any reason anybody at home wants dolphin consciousness, they're stuck on dolphins this week, bring them in. Let them do the back of your head and your back, and you'll even get some water, some squeak, 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 or some conical energy rings that'll feel like a massage. And you might be getting now trifected. So if you are Leanne, just nod, have dolphin come in down your back, and
Yes.
let it be a smorgasbord of wonderment. I've not used that word ever in the last 30 years. And even your kitty on the rail, who looks a little bit like our kitty, named Presley after Elvis Presley, and an angel named Presley, who's the interconnectedness of all. You could let her come in if you want, only if you want extra. Interconnectedness of all angels. She'll do her own ta-da for you on your eyelids with light. And then between those four beautiful energies, in a little while, you'll come out and take us somewhere. And I didn't do it. We're going to not blame Canada. Oh, no, no, we won't blame angels. We'll blame Canada for sure out of South Park. Okay. Leanne, what do you get in that whole smorgasbord of wonderment just now?
Well, I was getting, there was like this swirling energy going all around me, like this direction, this direction. What is that? Is that clockwise, counterclockwise? So, this way, going upwards, I guess, because if you go like that, then that would be, which is how it felt. Very heavy. I don't know if my hands were moving, but it felt very heavy and downward pulling, earthing, grounding on my tree hand. This was going up. I mean, I felt the energy going
Hmm.
up. And what is elephant?
Elephant consciousness, what is it? Just them talking to you and doing what they do.
Does it have some significance?
I haven't actually thought about trees are obvious for me. A lot of grounding and a lot of connecting and a lot of
Yeah,
reminding you
and
who
these
you
felt
are.
going upwards, which
I'll put
wouldn't.
up one more angel photo for today, and that'll be Mac, don't call her Mackenzie. Everything plants, animals, and nature, green, off the charts green. Here she is. And she's got a Pleiadian background if anybody cares about the galactic stuff. Not angels are unconditional love. I would just say it's all one big, wide variety of loving, love and above figures. Here's Mac. You can hear from her the significance of elephant. And if you don't mind saying this out loud,
Saying the significance of elephant out
yeah,
loud.
elephant consciousness
Wisdom.
is it appreciating who you are, respecting and
No,
honoring?
wisdom is the word I'm getting. Wisdom,
There we
wisdom.
go. So wisdom was the elephants and grounding and more on the other. But now take us somewhere from this. A launch pad, diving board. You do those two big hops on the diving board before you go splash.
Um, where do you want to go with all this? Oh, okay. Um, how fast something can shift in your life. Um, whether it's spontaneous healing or going from like being super stuck to all of a sudden having an amazing whatever. Like I think in terms of, creating gifts and opportunities for the world and putting things out there. How quickly think because I hear this all the time so often from people where it's like, this is going to take 5 years, or it's going to take me 10 years to do that. It's like, who gave you these numbers? Like, we're not, no, it's going to take 10 years to do this thing. It's like, no, it can literally be instantaneous. A story, spontaneous healing, for example. Healing your energy body governs your physical body. This is just an extension of your energy body. It's your car in this physical world. But we're much more than this physical car. Everything that is going on in our physical body, it's not like, if you have cancer, it's not like cancer came and descended upon you and attacked you and you're a victim of cancer, which is how Western medicine tries to frame it all the time. You're not a victim of cancer. The cancer is you. It's part of you. Cancer is nothing more than an accumulation of toxins and stuck energy. That's all it is. You get the energy moving, you get the toxins out, cancer can't thrive. I mean, and cancer is a normal part of, our body's growth. We're constantly creating cancer cells. The cancer can only turn into a tumor when your body isn't working the way the physical body isn't working the way that it's supposed to, because the body parts that are supposed to be doing their job, they're not getting the energy. It's like they're not getting their bacon and eggs in the morning for breakfast, so they have a nice strong constitution for go out and work in the field all day. I'm mixing a bunch of metaphors, but but anyway, I was gonna say Wheaties, but that's not good for you, so don't eat Wheaties. That's but anyway, the healing can happen, the shifts can happen in your life like that. It's all stuck by the mind. Everything that gets stuck in your body, in your life, is because of what's stuck up here. So as soon as you change this, and I'm pointing at, the brain, but really it's like everything, your psyche, you govern your psyche, and your energy body is in charge of the physical body. I mean, but it's all you. So everything that's happening in your body is you, even when you have parasites that are thriving in your body, that's because your body isn't working the way that it's supposed to be able to have this balance, I mean, our body's full of parasites. I mean, bacteria and stuff like that. You need it for your body, your physical body to function. We need these things for our body to work properly. But what happens is those things can get stronger, out of balance, or like grow into a tumor when the body isn't doing what it's supposed to keep it in check. Everything should be like this. But when the body doesn't have the life force energy that it needs, because there's a blockage in the energy system, or your life force energy gas tank is literally running on fumes, then that's when all of this other stuff can happen, because there's no system of checks and balances anymore. And everything starts up here. So your ability to take in, life force energy, if you have this huge, did she just like push on me? You have this like blockage because you're preventing that life force energy from coming in. I'm just keeping an eye on her because I can push on the orchid. Then you're not taking in that abundance. And we do things like this all the time. We literally prevent the good things from coming in because we're so bombarded with the bad things, and that's where we're focusing our. Okay, over here in my lap. She's like, let me just distract you so you can't finish this interview. Anyway, so the healing and the shifts can occur instantaneously. And I'm reminded of a story that I was telling somebody this week again. My grandmother, my Bodhisattva grandmother, who also came from a very abusive household in Slovakia, ended up coming to Canada, married my grandfather to be able to get away from that. And she had, she ended up getting breast cancer when I was young. I knew she was sick. She was in the hospital. She got breast cancer. Then they did a bunch of tests, and then it's like, okay, they had her scheduled for surgery to remove the breast cancer. So they had done all the tests and and the X-rays, and they had her scheduled for surgery. So she, with her friends, she said, "Can you please pray for me? So that this helps me heal, and the surgery goes well, or whatever." I don't know exactly what she asked for, but she said she asked her friends to pray. They prayed for her, and she prayed also, and it's often a lot easier when you get other people to focus that thought energy for you. And then she went to the hospital, and it was the day of her surgery, and they're like, okay, well, let's do another X-ray to make sure that we get all of it, if in case it's spread. And they're like, huh, it's the cancer is gone. Like it was gone, like gone, never came back. And there are literally thousands and thousands of stories like this. There was a woman a handful of years ago that did her whole PhD thesis on spontaneous remission, spontaneous healing. And what she used to have a video on YouTube, but then she expanded and started monetizing teachings and stuff. So they took the free video down. I kind of wish I captured it before that, but so she's presenting all this research. The one thing that everybody that had the spontaneous remission, spontaneous healing, I mean, people that were supposed to be like dead, the one thing they had in common, there was no diet that they had in common. There was no like, oh, they did this or that, or they were doing oxygen, or they were doing this. None of that. There was like everybody was completely different how they were addressing it, approaching it. The one thing that they all had in common was that they believed they were going to heal. They had that faith that they were going to heal. And that faith, and this is another thing I've been writing about this week, the difference between faith and hope. Hope tells your unconscious mind that you're not going to achieve it. It's something that you have to hope for or wish for. But really, those words are very self-defeating. I hope that, this happens. I wish this will happen. Those are to program your unconscious mind to say that you already know that you're not going to achieve. Just like when people use the word try. Hey, are you going to the party tomorrow? Well, I'm going to try to make it. You know immediately that the person, they're basically telling you, I'm not going to make it. They're telling themselves they're not going to make it. So anytime you use the word try, or I hope, or I wish, you're reinforcing for your unconscious mind you're not going to succeed. Having faith and knowing, say, I am healing, I am healthy, I'm strong, that positive affirmation, and know that I'm already in here as a whole healthy human being. I just have to uncover it now. So it's more about uncovering that healthy whole human being rather than hoping that it happens. I hope I heal. I hope my cancer goes away. I hope my health problem goes away. I hope I survive. I hope I don't die. Like all of that. No, get rid of those words. So it's about faith and about knowing. And that was the one thing that all of those people that had spontaneous remission and healed beyond the expectations of Western medicine, that they don't even get written about, because it's like, well, we don't understand how this happened, so we're just going to pretend it didn't happen. I have thousands of people in the REDjuvenator community like that. They have these amazing healing, like they use the REDjuvenator and then they get healthy, and they're like their brain glioblastoma is gone. And then the doctors are like, okay, well, we don't understand, maybe the tests were wrong. Well, you've got the x-rays right there and the MRIs, it's like right there. So anyway, but all of that, it's about faith versus, hoping, wishing, trying.
That's a great moment right there to just, without sticking to the positivity side of things, how do we lightly mention what the scientific community is about? Rupert Sheldrake has had a lot of criticisms over the year, how limited the approach is and scope and so on. But how would you like to say it that's sort of an upbeat way of handling it?
Well, really, it's about programming. It's hard. And this, when I was teaching English as a second language for business people in Italy, when people would come to me, and they don't know certain words, or they don't know how to read, they don't, starting from scratch, teaching them with the proper pronunciation. It's very easy to teach the proper pronunciation of English words, from scratch. But sometimes I get people that taught themselves English from reading books, and their pronunciation was like what? I don't even understand what you're trying to say, because they're saying the words, but they're saying them how they think they're supposed to be pronounced, and then they're unrecognizable. It is like 3 times harder to get them to unlearn what they've incorrectly learned and relearn it the right way. So it takes not just twice the amount of effort, it takes 3 times, well, at least 3 times, because you have to unlearn what you've already learned. And then you have to be open to learning a different way. That applies in everything in life, including the scientific community. So you have people that went, and this is also big time in Western medical training. Even somebody who's not doing the Western medical practice anymore, and they're doing integrative medicine, and it's like, I'm not doing the big pharma approach. They had that brainwashing and programming because they went to the Western medical indoctrination school, and it's 3 times harder to get them to unlearn that stuff that they learned that sets them on this certain paradigm. Same thing with the scientific community. So in physics, quantum physics, like the earlier physicists, they learned a certain way. They don't have the open, they're like, oh, scientific method, but you can't even conceive of something to create an experiment for, because it's not in your reality, because you've been programmed with this. So a really good book by Lynn McTaggart, who also, I was in her magazine and did a interview, What Doctors Don't Tell You. But her book The Field is a really good book, and The Intention Experiment. She talked to all of these scientists like that did hardcore research on, validating the power of intention, the power of, telepathy, the power of, instant communication, the power of, power of our thoughts, power of, communicating with plants, knowing that, all of these things that people did actual scientific research about that you rarely hear about. You're hearing about it more now. And the one thing that they all had in common, all of these scientists, they had an experience of their own. They had a personal experience that showed them that something that they had been programmed to believe was not true, because that if this were true, I wouldn't have been able to have this experience. So, whatever that experience was. So it always starts with their own experience, like, my process, my scientific method, for validating my own experiences. And then, is this repeatable? And why is this happening? So those are both really good books, on The Intention Experiment and The Field by Lynn McTaggart, to kind of give you that scientific understanding of how, when scientists can get out of their programming because they have an experience of their own, that then gives them the starting point to be able to go and explore, often to the point of being ostracized by their universities or by their communities, where they're completely, you're insane, they try to debunk you, they try to shame you, because basically the psychology behind that, these people have dedicated their lives to following this path, which then if you tell them that path is wrong and it's very limited, that means their ego, is like, I wasted 40 years and this is what you're telling me? I dedicated my life to this path and now you're telling me it's wrong. They're going to reject that 9 times out of 10. And that's exactly what happens. So that's why the people that are doing, like, no, I had this experience, now I want to validate using the scientific method. Why did this happen? Why? And another one, Dean Radin, he does a lot of research in telepathy and, tying quantum physics in with how all of this actually works, how we are able to manifest our reality, communicate it simultaneously. And another one is oh my God, Tom, Tom,
Lynn McTaggart, Dean Radin, and
Tom. Oh my God, call him Tom. What's his last name? Tom. Oh God, very important. Physicist. Worked with Robert Monroe at the Monroe Institute. He's the first scientist there. Tom. Oh my God.
I'll buy you time in that. Lynn McTaggart was just on in June for the show, and I believe she taped it. I think it was like January or last year in 2024. Just for disclosure, because she's very aware of her public perception, stuff like that. 0 steps were taken on the show on that one, but 95% of our guests take steps off air, on air.
What do you mean 0 steps were taken?
Just with the universe, angels listening, seeing light, feeling light, doing anything that would be considered even remotely woo 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 or anything. Just as a heads up, so that just keep got to keep her reputation squeaky clean, and that's important. She gets attacked a lot. But keeping going here, with your permission.
Tom Campbell. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Tom Campbell. Okay. With your permission, let's take some rapid creative and just see what happens steps. It'll be 3 angels, 4 other unconditional love guides. I've mentioned who most of them are. Whatever comes up, the smell of an ocean, you see light with your eyes shut, light around you with your eyes open, you get a reminder. I've got one angel named Min, who's like Mother Hawaii, Min like Minnesota. You've met her before. What else am I supposed to say? This is the Lakota Sioux word, Min, like Minnesota, for water. And she's a very soft-spoken professor. What are you getting feeling? Are you getting, and I'll blow through the microphone a little, let angels come in.
I'm not getting water, I'm getting a big open field.
Oh, nice. I'll take it. That's good.
Open, like very expansive field, like not hay, but something like, undulating, wavy, grassy type stuff, but big, open, expansive, and up on a hill there's a tree. Off in the distance, but mostly just very open.
Well, Leanne, you're outstanding in your field, so I'm not surprised you got that. Okay. Here comes the next one, but I don't have any representation for it, and you're going to laugh at who they are. There are two angels, Hope and Faith. Hope is peach colored. Faith is yellow, sort of like discipline down here in that chakra, if you can picture me rubbing my belly. So if you don't mind doing like you did with elephants and that other tree consciousness, Hope on one hand, Faith in the other. They're very cool. They're great. We're not taking away from what you said before. It was spot on. But Hope and Faith, they're just so much fun. Um, feel what you can feel. Maybe close your eyes. Catch peach colored for hope and yellow for faith. Breathe extra. If anybody needs help, 1 millimeter open counts for breathing in the mouth. And let those shoulders be like bellows up and down. Extra letting go. And one more dad joke. Where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where? In the ICU.
I, I was trying to half listen to your joke and I didn't
I
hear
know,
it
and I
all.
use the jokes to
But I'm
keep a
like, I'm not
person
gonna
in
the
their
joke this
heart.
time so I can focus on this, and but I'm half listening, so I didn't even get the joke. But anyway, I'll
Yeah. Where in
relay
a
it.
hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? In the ICU.
Okay, I got it now because I didn't hear the first part about that for some. Okay,
It's
anyway,
like
nice.
those dad jokes are a stun gun for the thinking logos side so that the heart can just leap forward and get the experience. And
And for me, they pull me into my left brain, and then I can't connect. Okay.
so hope and faith, let them come in. Just are you getting a sensation, energy, feeling, back of your hand, top of your shoulders? What are you getting?
I'm getting. I mean, it's almost like there's this interplay, like a slinky. And if
Ooh,
there, you know what I mean by a slinky? Like I'm holding
sure.
one here,
Yep.
and it's going like this. They're
It's
playing back and forth. I don't know what that means, but that's the visual and the feeling I'm getting. Like they're bouncing back and forth.
and
Like
faith,
I literally feel like I have a giant slinky in my head where it's. Do you know that what I'm talking
yeah,
about? That
yeah. And
everybody knows what a slinky is, but they're these coiled up thing that you used to play with, and you could put them like on a step, on a step, and it would go boom, and then the natural kinetic energy would kind of go boom, and then it would go down the steps. So it's like that bouncing, and I feel almost like I'm in slow motion on my camera. That's weird too,
I
because
love it.
there's some visual thing happens. But anyway, I don't know what that.
And faith can be religious, non-religious faith, without knowing being in your
Yeah,
heart and doing love. So I love that definition.
yes, it's not a dogmatic or religious faith. I mean, although it can be, but it's faith is like confidence, but not faith is the best word for it. Like just knowing, like I know this amazing thing is going to happen. Like having that belief, it's more than belief, it's conviction, but faith is kind of the all-encompassing feeling
Yeah.
that embodies the idea.
Right.
And
It's
to know,
it's
and it's like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
well, I was going to jump to the next figure for you, but finish up.
I was just going to say, you know how they say fake it till you make it? When they've done scientific research on this. If you're feeling like sad or depressed and you make yourself smile, be putting your muscles into that, like there's this muscle memory, and you start feeling happy, even though you're not feeling happy, using your muscles, and you literally start changing your like the energy that goes with using those muscles that go upwards changes your energy system. So you start feeling happy. So the fake it till you make it, when you, even if, I'm not successful and, full of abundance and wealthy financially and emotionally right now, but the fake it till you make it is like start saying it in your mind, writing it down first thing in the morning, within half an hour of waking up, positive, first tense, first present tense, first person, as though it already exists. And then it will start existing very quickly. Whatever it is, I have a strong, healthy body, even if right now I don't. You don't ever want to use it in the negative. Like I'm currently a smoker. I don't want to say I'm a non-smoker.
Mm.
I only breathe in things that are healthy and, good for my lungs. that would be like, instead of saying I don't smoke, I'm a non-smoker. No, you want to stop smoking. I only breathe in things, that are healthy and nourishing for my lungs. So that means the cigarettes are not part of that. So that's just an example. Sometimes people have a hard time not using the negative.
So Bastille Day has come and gone, so has July 4th, but I'm still going to offer you a choice: red, white, or blue.
Normally I would say red, but right now I want blue.
You're going to pick blue? Okay. Here's Elvis. Have him come into the building, and he's super unconditional love, super svelte, super fun. You can hear him croon. You can close your eyes. You have about 19 different experiences you could have. He's even super spiritual guide and can touch your shoulder with lots of extra jazz, creativity, oomph, rock and roll, whatever you want to call it, extra mojo. And enjoy that, actually. Don't rush it for the show. But what do you get when you want to share?
It's yeah, that's I you've never shown me Elvis before. This is new, but I really like that. It's very it's empowering, but not like agitated. It's very strong, like it's this inner strength, but I can feel it like it's expanding my energy field. Yeah, it's very
Hear
um
him very directly, softly, as if he's almost singing, or it's like a mantra, a little like I'm here, but it is going to be the word's not cute. It's personal, sparkly, with a little bit of play. Hear him talk to you directly. He's a good one to have as part of your cast of crew.
in here.
You don't have to share it out loud, but just say got it when you got it.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna do Debbie Ford next. We'll do Anthony Bourdain after that. Here's Debbie. Remember, Ariel Ford's been on the show. Her sister, a lot of shadow work. People can read up on her, but she's, reconciled if anybody's worried. Unconditional love. She was wonderful and sparkly on this side too. Here's Debbie Ford. Here's something beautiful from her. Get a compliment. And what can you share out loud?
She just said you're beautiful.
I love this. See, this is why people come on the show. Oh, and I'm going to show a concert photo since you're from the Austin area, know Austin, lived in Austin, Stubbs Barbecue. It looks better on my iPad, so I'm actually going to show it on my iPad. For some reason, the resolution that's brighter, more color pops out. Give me half a second and a shake of a lamb's tail. Here we go. We're down to 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is a concert. It was either Two Door Cinema Club out of the UK or France's only successful progressive band, M83. They've been trying a long time. It was not raining.
Huh?
And lots of angels, lots of unconditional love figures. Joy's in the middle there, and so's Eclair. But
But when was that?
Stubbs Barbecue, the backyard, the amphitheater that sloped, that concert
Yeah,
place.
I remember.
I
Yeah.
love
Isn't
that.
it still there?
Yeah.
Somebody told me, I thought it had closed, and I asked a friend just a couple months ago. I'm like, I thought, I was describing it. And he's like, no, it's still there. I'm like,
Oh,
really?
I think it's so successful. Yeah, and they're booked way out usually. But the summer months, it's a little quieter. July and August, they don't.
Uh,
It starts picking up again in September for the outdoor events. They do the gospel brunch and everything. Great food. If you're from outside of Austin coming in, it's definitely one of those tourist spots you want to hit. Okay, Anthony Bourdain, let's get a drum roll. I normally just don't do a lot of him. There's no reason for it. It's just, you know, um, if you don't mind, just throw the finger paint somewhere or rub your hands in a circle. And at home, we're just resetting. Be in your heart. Get something very creative from him or a compliment on staying the course. Yep, with your
like,
dogs.
ordained does he have a tree?
Your animals are digging it, but catch a beautiful compliment from him about how you're carving your own path. And if you don't mind saying got it out loud when you got it.
Got it. It's blurry. I
Okay.
got it, but it's blurry.
Was there anybody else we had mentioned? Elvis, Anthony Bourdain, Debbie Ford, Faith, and Hope we talked about a lot. I had to bring them in. I couldn't help it. Um, I'll do one more, but it's going to be chef's choice, meaning your end. Let one of your guides come in, either Off-World Galactic, Archangel Michael, somebody, they'll surprise you. And I'll put up Geronimo just for a little extra oomph. Older Geronimo, he comes in like a lightning bolt, but he'll be your shepherd here, or ambassador for whoever the actual person is. Geronimo is action, dry wit, humor. He comes straight in. Have him set the tone of complete opening openness. Catch a little tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper, campfire smell, Douglas fir. You got it?
Mhm.
Okay, now let one of your angels come in. Oh, your grandmother from the Slovak grandmother. That's who I've been trying to get to. There was one more. Have her come in, give you a kiss on the cheek, squeeze on the shoulder, get a private compliment, and when you say got it, you got it, you're off the hook. No more.
Yeah.
Oh, this is it. My job's done here. Okay, wrap this up for us. And if you would, I think you gave us a daily mantra before, but can you give us a new one? When you get there for the mantra, you're going to have to repeat it 3 times so that people pick up on your vibe. You're going to communicate beyond words, even though you're saying a mantra 3 times in a row. And just people will pick up on Leanne Venier's yay vibe. Um, and it's going to be a beautiful work of art that's invisible, but not. Um, and that's it. Where do you want to take us just as a wrapping this up? What's a last little reminder and then take us into that mantra? Hopefully a new one you haven't used in a long time. You've dusted it off. It's from abroad or from one of your crew or even your grandmother's like, hey,
Well, the I don't think I've even used this one because it sounds a little um assuming, but the one that kept coming is I'm already perfect the way that I am. That I'm already perfect the way that I am. And I think that ties in with that peeling away of the layers where we have this inner core that is pure white light, and it often gets obscured with these outer layers and masks and everything else. So it's not about changing anything, it's just about getting rid of all the stuff that's concealing the inner perfection that's already within each and every one of us. So it's not about changing, it's about shedding more than anything. Shed the things that you don't need, that no longer serve you. And then that beautiful brilliance and inner light starts to come through, just like taking off layers and layers of shrouding. And then as you get closer to the inner light, then it starts glowing. And the more layers you drop and shed, the brighter you become. But that brighter brightness and inner light and perfection is already there inside.
and the mantra one more time to make it a trifecta.
I'm perfect. I'm already perfect the way that I am.
I love it.
Something like that. Anyway,
Le Leanne Venier, thank you very much for being on the APL Spotlight Series. We're going to have you back, and it's a treat having you on.
thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure. Always a joy.
Always. I love it. Always, too. Thank you so much. I know you're loving your animals coming in.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.